长度呢，应该是有将近500米。非
The
常的
length
震
is
撼，看
almost
上去，而
500
且大家可以
meters
看一下，
of
我
this
们可以
train
慢
set.
慢的把这个这个镜头往我的这个身后稍微摇一下。
We can
看到在这个
zoom in the camera here.
现在就有一列
You can see what's behind me.
好像是马上就要进入
There's a bullet train coming.
应该就是刚刚搭乘过这个乘客的一列动车组。那么现在它马上
This train has just sent off passengers, and this is going to get into the maintenance shop for inspection and overhaul. And now it is waiting for the dispatching office because we need to ensure the safety of the on-site workers. And we heard this sound of signaling. Looks like it's coming into the maintenance shop. We can see that it's slowly entering. The rail track is exactly like the one we're seeing when we actually take the train. The track extends to this maintenance shop. When it enters the maintenance shop, the speed is slowed down massively, and it's coming in. Because this maintenance shop has workers inside, so the speed needs to be really slow to ensure the safety of the on-site workers. This train set is very long, and the velocity is really low. You can see our workers are here. It's entering an inspection line for overhauling. You can see our workers are on the ground holding a flashlight and a radio speaker. He seems to be inspecting something. So, what's the inspection process? What's it like to be on the top and the bottom? And we'll find some worker to help us explain the process. Today we're here. We'll bring you onto the train, and we'll be on the bottom and the top of the train and show you the process of the inspection. This is a chance that you cannot get every day. Now let's go find our guest today. A leader in Jinan inspection line. CGTN. Hello, are you busy? Okay, please say hello to our audiences. Hello, audiences. We have watched this train set into the maintenance shop for inspection. Yeah, it is going to the first period maintenance. And this one is going the second stage of the maintenance. Many of our netizens today are witnessing this for the first time for this maintenance shop for high-speed trains. And we can see the dispatch office there. Is this the brain of this maintenance shop? Yes. It's a controlling panel. All the plan, all the dispatch are being conducted here. Can we enter that room? Yes, exactly. I saw this train stopped for a while, and the radio came from this dispatch office. Yeah, it's a reminder for workers inside to be careful, to notice the incoming train. It serves just as a notice. Now we're entering this brain of the maintenance shop. The plannings are and dispatches are all conducted here. This is safety dispatch and this is the inspection dispatch. Now our staff are all working so we can keep our wastes down. Let's take a look here. What's the function of this screen? This is our CTC system. This is the situation of our trains. This is like a parking spot in a park. This is exactly like a parking lot for bullet trains. And this is the 5 lanes for inspection. And every train needs to go into the inspection plant first, and then it's going into the parking lot. We described it as a parking lot, and we can see there are 2 trains inside because during daytime most trains are in operation, so the parking lot doesn't have a lot of trains. So there are 2 trains waiting to be inspected. So in summer we can see a lot of passenger surge. So why is it only 2 trains being here? Yeah, it's exactly because of the traffic peak. We have our trains out during daytime, and during 10 p.m. to the next 4 a.m. our trains would come back for inspection, and then in the morning all the trains leave. How many can it park? 60 standard train sets can be parked here. Let's take a look here. This seems like a monitor. Yes. There are cameras inside our maintenance shop. This is a project evaluating system. When operators inspect our trains, their work are all videoed. And the inspectors behind these cameras will be evaluating the operators, and we have different standards for evaluating our operators for their better performances. So this evaluating system is designed to improve the quality of our operations. So every operator's work are monitored. Will inspectors see this? Yes, we have an office for inspecting their operations. This is the exterior cameras, and when the operators work, they each have a camera, and we can see from those cameras that if their performances have reached the standard. We can see what they're seeing, and we can see the exterior, we can see what's their performances and behaviors. So every step of the way is inspected, and we can see their work, if their work has ensured the safety of our trains. So it better improves the security and safety of taking the train. We have a yellow alert for high temperature, but I can feel that it's even hotter in here, and it's holding at a high humidity. because this is a closed area. When trains come in, they have air conditioning, of course, and they are actually pushing the hot air out of the trains. So the temperature inside the maintenance shop is actually 2 to 3 degrees higher than the outside. This is a very stuffed feeling. It's very hot. We have higher temperature and humidity. While he was talking to us, he's sweating through his shirt. Our workers are just the same. Let's take a look. This worker's clothes is completely wet because of their sweat. Maybe some netizens are just seeing this, and I want to repeat, we are in Jinan city in a maintenance shop for high-speed railway trains. And I posed a question for netizens. At first, how many hours or how many miles does it need to have an inspection? And our netizens, you can guess. Now, please tell us, what are our operators doing? They're repairing and maintaining the coupler. In slow season, eight train of a train set can satisfy the need of our traffic volume. But now in a peak time, two couple of the train set will be conjoined together. So all in all, 16 carriages are combined together. So the traffic volume can raise. So the coupler is very important in this. It's like automobiles. We have a coupler behind. This one is especially crucial because it joins us two train sets together. So the safety must be assured. And what problems are we inspecting here? The juncture's motor functions are being inspected. It needs to be lubricated. And the coupler needs to be assured to be ejected. This part is also needing inspection. This is a really complex structure. You can push the camera closer in. The structure is really complex. There are lines for electricity and gas. It may seem simple, but it is actually more complicated than this. It transfers data as well as other lines. So the requirement of professional skills for our operators is really high. They need to be really familiar with the techniques. They need to be familiar with every component's function. They have to do de-dust for the electrical lines. We can see that another train set has come in. I can see they are putting loops on the juncture. It prevents dust and water from going in, and it keeps the motor function of the conjunctors. And we can also see that they're sweating heavily. We're not doing exercise or anything, but we're still sweating. Let alone these operators, they are working. The train sets have many types. Yes, there are many types. Type 1, 2, 3, 5, and there are 380A and 380B, and we have Fuxing. Different types of train sets come into our maintenance shop as well. But there are some basic types, like a Japanese type of cars, and we have developed different variants from these basic models. Is it different for the inferior of different types? So do they have to be familiar with every kind of car? Yes. They have to shift their models in repairing these trains. They have to switch the condition of their working state. They are inspecting the electrical switch. It's the transference of AC and DC, and it acts as an engine for our train. Let's see our operators here. They are trying to find problems with the flashlight. Also, for every bolt on the facility, they all need to be inspected. They are covering every aspect that they can for the electricity road, so the operation is really complex, for me at least. Be it bolts or pipes, it's just really complicated. It's just really complicated work. All these can be opened. This is a second stage repair. Can you describe it? What's the second degree repair? There are 4 degrees of repair. There are 5 stages. There are 5 degrees for repair. The first is to examine the situation and condition. It's a repair happens in 4,000 kilometers, and the second repair is 100,000 kilometers. This is a rather big project. Every component needs to be inspected. The first degree repair happens today for one time, so we can only examine the surface of the problems. This is DCU, a unit for controlling the brakes. It's not, the brakes in high-speed railway are not like in automobiles. We cannot just hit on the pedal of brake because we need to make sure the state of comfortable of our passengers. So the power for brake need to be calculated, and it will calculate the power needed to be dispersed into each wheel and how long it takes to stop the train. We can see our operators are mumbling. Was he talking to us? No. This is a major procedure for inspection. Speaking out, the project is needed in our process. Is it monitored? Yes, they are being videoed, and our analyzers will inspect their jobs. It's just like our daily lives. Like we forget if we have locked our doors, so we may be posing a position every time after we lock the door. Yeah, exactly like that. It's helping them to form this habit to reach this level of performance with or without the cameras. It's a standard they have to reach. We can see our staff were talking all the time. I saw they were talking to me and I didn't reply. I thought that was impolite, but now I realize that they weren't talking to me. They were just ensuring their work was standardized. They were just reminding themselves that they completed their jobs. This is like a workshop, like a giant factory. You can see the lighting above. Yeah, we have different kinds of operators, and they're all working on the train. What is this? This is inspection for axles. They are inspecting it, and after that they will put lubricating oil. This is the wheel, and this is the axle. We need to examine the axle to see if there are defects or crevices on the axle, because the axle is the most crucial part for the operation of a train. So the safety of this ensures the stability and the velocity of the train. This is a hollow axle. This design is for the train to be lighter, because the speed needs to go up, then the weight needs to go down. But we still need to make it thicker, because the stability of it will be heavier. So we have chosen this design. And also we can see from the inside if there are crevices or defects. This is more convenient for inspection. We have learned more about train sets. Like understanding the obstacles we have met in R&D for high-speed rail. This is a examining machine. It's inspecting if there are any defects. We can see the condition of the axle. This is the axle. And if the wheels should be here, it should be here. So we can see from the monitor that if the defects exist, our operator here will judge from his experience and his professionalism. So what's the situation right now for this train? It's generally good. The defect monitoring is mainly focused on checking if there are small crevices in the axle. What's this red? Area stands for? This is the conductivity of the sound waves. This is way too professional for us, but from this we can see the condition is very good, right? Yes. If small crevices appear, where will it be indicated? There are 3 surfaces, and we will analyze it, combining it together. How much time will it need for this process? From 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, I will not bother you anymore. How many wheels need to be examined? Every one of them. Like for this 8-carriage train, there are 32 axles, and every one of them needs to be inspected. What's the length of this train? Around 200 meters. An examining job like this will take exactly how many operators? We have 2 machines for defect examining. From 8 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m., the examining of defects will be completed. There are 3 platforms for operation. Now we're on the 1st floor, and we can take a look at the 2nd and the 3rd platform. The 3rd floor is mainly focused on the top of the train, and now we're going to the 2nd platform to see the inside of the train. Later, we will bring you to the bottom and the top of the train. I know that many of you may have taken a train, but not many of you have mounted onto the train. So we'll have a look what's it like on the top of the train. Now we are going into the cabin. This is now electricity free, so there are no electricity at all. So the temperature is rather high, and you will have a feeling of smothering. This is also another kind of inspection. They are inspecting the conjuncture between carriages. This is the connection for electricity, gas. Yeah, this is the combining part of the carriages. If you stand on here while taking the train, you will feel being swayed. Now they are lifting the board and they are inspecting the conjuncture. First, they need to clear it, and then they need to inspect it, and then they are going to lubricate it. As I could feel it's getting hotter in here. As you can see, we have a light here. Now we can feel the lighting is alright, but actually during the blackout there are no lights, no air conditioning, so you can see our sweats because it's completely sealed. The windows can't be open. It's really hot and smothered. You can see our operators are really sweaty. What are they inspecting? They're checking for the seats. Because this is the closest part with passengers, so we need to examine the condition of these seats. If they fail to meet the standards or if there are any loose bolts, so that passengers can feel comfortable sitting on these seats. They can find a right angle, a comfortable angle for things they want to do. Maybe reading a book or lying for a nap. They are examining very carefully. They are opening every cushion of the seat and they are testing the buttons. And it also needs to be turned. Yes, every seat can be turned because the train can go in both directions. The usage is rather frequent, so it can bring some pressure into the motor function of the seats. So our operators are checking very carefully. If problems are spotted, it will be resolved as soon as possible. What's the problem that occurs most frequently? The bolts conjoining the seat and the back are easily damaged during the rides. Due to misuses of the seats, the bolts can be broken. Also, this little table here, the rate of malfunction is rather high. Like some passengers of ours, they may put their children or some luggage on this table, so it will possibly break it. Our luggages need to be put on the rack as needed. This is not like the tables we use at home. It is only plastic, so it cannot bear too much weight. Sometimes I would put my bag on the table because I think it's convenient, but this kind of behavior is not really good. It's not good for the tables. So please, netizens, take notice of these, because when I actually come in here and I could feel the hard work that they're doing, it's really humid and it's really hot. So the physical feeling is not very good, and they still need to inspect every button, every seat. So these kind of misbehavior by us passengers will probably add their workload. The load of the table is 5 kilos. Our bags can be heavier than that. So I urge people to take off your bags. You can put a cup of tea or a book on the table. It's all okay. So putting the luggages on the rack is really convenient, so you can just put it there. Big luggages have a place to store as well. Sometimes people feel insecure, so maybe this is a factor contributing to their misbehaviors. Let's see, what are our operators doing here? This is an inspection for our doors. The door needs to be dedusted on the surface. You can see that the temperature is rather high inside the cabin, but our inspector here needs to wear a protective suit. So the temperature will rise maybe 2 to 3 degrees centigrade for inspectors here. So doors need to be opened, and there can't be any dead corners. Every corner needs to be reached. You can see there are a lot of conjunctions, and every one of them needs to be dedusted. If dust pile up in these conjunctions, it will probably delay the speed of the opening and closing of the door. Inspector, are you doing the dedusting job? Yes. When we do our inspections, there are some procedures. The first is to remove all the dust. Please say hello to our audiences. Hello, I am Zhang Yuxin. I'm from Liaoning province. I'm 24 years old. I've been working for 2 years. He's only 24 years old. He's born in 1990s. Please show us your protective suit. This is a special material. This suit is on the outside is like a plastic. This proves 3 kinds of things, like water. It mainly protects people from getting into contact with the dust. What do you feel like? I feel like I am taking a shower with clothes on. Can we try this on? Yes, of course. This is your working bag. Can you show us what you bring during operations? This is lubricating oil. This is clothes for change. because all the sweat, I need to change clothes during the operations. And these are the tools, like flashlights, brushes. Okay, let me try this on to have a more direct feeling of this work. Please take this for me, thank you. I don't know if this will fit. This looks rather big, but it's not easy to put on. It's not very comfortable putting it on because it's too hot and I've sweat. I feel very smothered and I'm sweating a lot. As soon as I put it on, it's completely sealed and there can't be any dust inside. So the sweat that you have is completely sealed inside the clothes. It's like wearing winter clothes in summer. Audiences, you can try it on right now. Try on some winter clothes now, and you can feel the feeling that I'm having. Can I have a try on your job? What can I try? My job is mainly examining this door. This is the only entrance from the outside of the train to the inside of the train. The rate of glitch is rather high for this door. There are over 100 conjunctions, and even if one tiny glitch happens, it could affect the smooth of opening and closing of the door. You can see the electrical lines. You need to see if all of these are intact. The conjunctions are very small and it's very complicated. So you need to clean it with what? We need to blow it with a windpipe, and then we need to use the brushes and this oil sinking paper to wipe off the loops on the conjunction. This is a very precise and complicated job. How many doors do you have to clean every day? 52 doors on every train set. How many time does it take? How much time does it take to clean just one door? More than 30 minutes. You can see I am sweating a lot right now. I am not a heavy sweater actually, but I've only been here for a couple minutes and I haven't been in the operation because it's too professional for me, but I have sweated a lot. I feel the clothes of mine are all wet. So 52 doors plus 30 minutes a door. So the job is really heavy. You can take a rest during this, right? Yes. Because of the hot weather, we have some things like popsicles and soups and waters as supply to help us ease the hot. So what's your feeling after a day? I feel that I can bathe in my sweat. I could feel that my clothes are completely wet. I can show you. Goodness. It's completely wet. It's like he was just in a lake. You can see all this is wet. Now I have to take off this suit. And your hair is completely wet. So I have prepared another change of clothes. You can see the sweat dropping from his neck. And he's 24 years old, just 24. So I'll leave you alone. Thank you. He's very young, and this job is very uneasy. I feel very uncomfortable in this suit, let alone working in them. I could not move in those suits, and he has to work like that. It's a really uneasy job, and we have never imagined we have to take off every door and de-dust every conjunction. There are some functions like anti-squeeze. If passengers go out and the door was closing and it touches them, it would feel it and it would eject open again. And the spare parts are really a lot. Now, this operator here is cleaning the water supply. In the middle, this is one machine for boiling water. And the water we can get is from the boiling tank. After time, sometimes because of the water's condition, it will have some taints. So this ensures the quality of the water we drink during the ride. And the visual effect is really terrible, and it's completely sealed. Now, what are they operating on? They are repairing the drapes, because the drape can block the sunlight, and it is used very frequently, so the mechanical springs can have a glitch. So we need to examine the springs inside the drapes, because we want to give our passengers the best experience if they want to see the view outside the window. And we can see some children, they may be playing with these drapes. It is actually a burden for the springs. Now we are entering the dining carriage. I can see there are many operators inside the train. How many of them are inside the train? 40 to 50. There are 3 platforms. We have different job posts of operators. Now this is the washroom. Now he's repairing the toilet. It's very low, so he has to sit on the ground for washroom. We have to inspect the function of the washroom. If the toilet is okay, sometimes our passengers would throw some garbages inside the toilet, and it would clog the toilet. So it's just like the toilets in our family. So what would clog our toilet at home would also clog it here. And the frequency of usage is really high. Once it is clogged, it is very inconvenient for our passengers. So here I want to remind our passengers to use the toilet better, to treat it like our own toilets. Please don't think that nothing can happen for pouring some garbages in. So from our videos you cannot see, but we can still smell the unpleasant smells inside the toilet, and our operator has to be really close to the toilet. If something big is stuck in the toilet, they have to reach in with their hands and get it out. So this work is really hard. We may think it's not a good work in our own homes, so please have some respect for our operators. His clothes is also wet from his sweat. What's your name? My name's Zhang Yutong. Because this is not very spacious, so it's easy to sweat. Thank you. You're also born in the 1990s. I was born in 1994 and I am 24 years old. They're really young. The average age is 23. What they're doing is really great. We need to give our applause to them. For young people, it's really uneasy for them to do this. So that was the second platform. This height is exactly like our platform. Okay, let's take a look at the bottom or at the top. Remember the question I posed for you? He has actually answered this. I don't know if you have noticed. It is 48 hours, which is 2 days. So every 2 days, the trains need to be inspected. It's for the safety and convenience for our passengers. I didn't think it would be this frequent. I thought it was for several years, but it actually is inspected every 2 days. Now they're doing some inspection for the exterior. Now this job is done, right? Yes. They have closed all these boards. All the facilities are protected in these boards. How long does it take to inspect this kind of train set? A whole day. So this maintenance shop works 24/7? Yes. So at night times, we are doing first degree inspection, and in daytime we have second degree inspection. As you've told us, there will be more trains during night times. Now we are in the dispatch office. This is a place to control all the operation. It's also like the brain of this maintenance shop. All the operation are controlled here. We can see a lot of boards like the one we've seen before was D36 on the far left side, and we can see which department are operating on the train. And you can see this one, it has no one working on it. As we can see, there are two situations, with or without electricity. And when our operators are working, the electricity has to be cut. The boards in the middle are for power supply. If all the boards are back, the power supply can be regained. The first part is for all the departments for operation. Every board needs to be there to inspect it. The voltage is very high. As long as you go near that electricity, you will be electrified. So for security reasons, we have a security controlling system for the third platform. If the power is not cut, you cannot enter. If you do not go down the platform, then the power supply will not go on. Okay, please give him some time for registration and then we can go on. Thank you. As we can see, our operators are having soups. So during breaks, we can drink some water here. How much water do you drink? I cannot say for sure, but as much as possible. We can feel better after drinking this and feel cooled off. This is supplied twice a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. So water supply cannot be cut. They are really doing some hard work. So our leaders have provided us with this. I don't know if you have seen on the site there are some fans. It's for our operators, right? Our maintenance job is 500 meters in length. The air needs to flow, so the fans are in function. It would not feel very as stuffed as in the train. Okay, now we can. Where are we going? We are going to D34. This is the one just coming in from the beginning. Okay, now is our mysterious time to go on the top of our trains. Many of us may have taken a train, but few people can really mount the top of the train. We're going into, on the inside, we need to swipe the card. This is guarding the security of our on-site operators. Now we can see the top of our trains. It's not a completely flat surface. It's for aerodynamic studies. We can see the temperature even higher on top, and the noise is really big. I don't know if you can hear us clearly, but we can feel it really noisy up here, and the temperature can be 5 to 6 degrees higher than down there. What is our inspector doing here? This is a anti-conductor for between our train and high voltage electrical lines. Every time the train comes back, a lot of dust would attach to it. It will affect the function of it if there are too much dust. So our operator needs to wipe all of them clean. How many are there? I don't actually know exactly how many. This is anti-slippery roll. This is very rough and it's not slippery, so it ensures the safety of our operators, because the top of the train is actually an arc. This is a electricity box. For our trains to move, this is the crucial part. It conducts the electricity. This needs to be raised when it's running. It would conduct our electricity grid, and it will conduct the electricity downward to the inside of the train. Every part, every component is supplied by this electricity. So what's his operating on? He needs to test the pressure. This is supported by the airbag. If the airbag is malfunctioning, the conductivity can be reduced. Now he's testing it, right? Yes. The appropriate pressure can only the appropriate pressure can ensure the best conductivity. We can see the rack is lowered and it's going to be raised again. We have ADD valve on it, because this rack can be hit by some objects during runs, and this prevents it from that. We can see that he's very busy, so we'll just leave him be. If there are any newcomers, you may see this as a platform, but actually we're on the top of our trains. It's 38.5 centigrade here. but actually the feeling we have physically is higher than that. It is very noisy up here and it's smothering hot. Every operator of ours is sweating through their shirts because there are requirements of their work hour, so we'll just leave them alone and we won't bother them anymore. We can see maybe our netizens are really excited to see what they're working on the top of our trains. We can really see that their job is really hard. Now it's 40.1 degrees, but what I feel is much higher than that. The last part we're going to discover is the bottom of our trains. We can have this shot. It feels very fuzzy because there are some water evaporating because the hot air is always going up. So we can see the roof. It's made of glass, so the sunlight hits right in, so we can really feel the high temperature. Just imagine. Maybe it cannot show as clearly as in the lens, but from what I can see, the air is really frosty. I don't know the exact words to describe how hot it is in here. So now let's explore our final stop, the bottom of our train. The bottom is actually really crucial because it's where the wheels are. Are they cleaning? Yes, they are cleaning the filter for our air conditioning system. It's just like the air conditioner in our houses. The filters need to be cleaned for better cooling effects because the train goes very far, so the climate is different and there may be a lot of dust. Hi. They're cleaning the transformer. I can try the temperature here. 40 degrees. The body of the train is 40 degrees. This is a heat dissipation system. It's exactly like our air conditioner in our houses, so you can feel the heat. So this platform is called a ditch. The width is just over 1 meter, and there are 2 stages to facilitate our operators to operate on the bottom of our train. We can feel it really smothering hot, and the space is really narrow. We can see all the components here. The electricity goes through here, and all these machines are conjoined together. So the movement of our train is basically thanks to these parts. Every component needs to be inspected. Like I said, there are lubricating oil, and that also need to be inspected. I think maybe we are disturbing their jobs because this is a very narrow space. You can see our position here. We're in the ditch. Our operators need to go inside the ditch and inspect the components under the trains. Because our engines, our wheels are all under here, their securities also need to be assured. The operation room is really narrow. I feel like we're disturbing their jobs because of the space. Dear audiences, we are in Jinan, Qingdao, a maintenance shop. We call it a 4S shop for trains. This is a mandatory maintenance work. Every 2 days, our trains come here for inspection, and we have brought our audiences to the 3 platforms to discover the operations, and we have heard a lot of professional knowledges about high-speed rails. I feel that their work is very hard, and our operators are very young. You cannot imagine that they're inspected by these young people. We feel very convenient and comfortable while riding on these trains, but we don't know what's behind all these. So maybe after today, I will say thank you to every operator on our railway. And I want to urge our passengers to protect the facilities on the train better. It's the best respect and understanding for the work we have here. So that wraps up the live streaming today.